Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Catching up on all the people already in the chat here. I was a little surprised by that, plus I got in a little bit late. Nonetheless, Bitcoin was down today. Not really a surprise there. I think the market makers, the people of influence, are trying to bring Bitcoin down a little bit more so they can buy more later on, or early on right now, and they'll pump it back up here. So I'm not worried about that, but overall, oh my gosh, the miners had a pretty good day today nonetheless. IREN, Cipher was up a little bit here, but Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Wolf, those guys were still doing really good today. It was a volatile day nonetheless. Here, we'll take a look at what happened here today. We have some good news, obviously, on Bitcoin, on AI as well. What else do we have here? On Cipher news as well. Bitcoin mining news, part of that as well. And then we'll also take a look at how the miners have performed here in different time frames. And they are massively outperforming Bitcoin right now, which is kind of what we would expect, but it's more on AI than it is on Bitcoin price action here. So we'll take a look at all that, what's going on there. And yeah, we'll get into Q&A at the end of it. So let's get into it here. But first, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin today, because it was a volatile day nonetheless. Let's go to the browser here. And we can see Bitcoin was down quite a bit here today. It got down to a low of 119,713. We finished out the day at 121,714, which was okay, right? Which is kind of in line where we were here. Just, oh, okay, there we go. We were up a little bit from where we were on Tuesday, right? Tuesday was a big drop for us. We were down 2.67% here. Today we're down only 1.32%. We bounced back up. We're down a little bit on the new day as well for it. I think we'll eventually, maybe for today, for Friday, we may end up in the green here a little bit. We'll see if that plays out that way. Overall, the markets were in the red. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P, and the Russell was all down a little bit today. All of these guys have had pretty good runs here recently. If you look at it this way, right, you can see a pretty nice run here. We've had a number of days where we were in the red here at times where we reached new highs. We came back down a little bit, reached new highs, came back down a little bit, reached new highs, came back down, reached a new high, came back down again. So this is par for course, I guess you'd say. Same thing with on the NASDAQ there, right, reaching new highs, coming back down a little bit here. S&P, same thing, getting new highs, coming back down a little bit. So we are in this kind of, I guess you could say, price discovery on all these markets right now. And as they go up, people take profits. They go up, people take profits, right? So I'm not too worried about that right now as well. Let's see here. Ethereum today was down a little bit as well. It was down just 3.45% there. Miners, like I said, had a pretty good day overall. Bitfarms was up today 4.25%, reaching a new not an all-time high, but at least a 52-week high on them. BitTier was up also a little bit today after being down much, much worse. A lot of these guys were down quite tremendously here today. I was a little bit surprised by that. I think it's just, like, again, market makers, influential people in the industry, institutions, whatever it might be, they were trying to get lower price points on a lot of these guys here. And then eventually towards the end of the day, we ended up being in the green on most of these guys. So that one was up 2.81%. Kango was actually down 0.85%. Cipher was up 2.2% today after being down much lower. They got to a new 52-week high, or probably even a new high overall on them, going back to, yeah, I mean, this is a new high here. It's in price discovery mode as well. Cleanspark was up 5.85% today, got to a high of 2058. This is a new 52-week high for them. CORZ was up 2.91%. Hive was up 6.42%. For them, it's also a new 52-week high, and probably not a new all-time high for them, but it is a new 52-week high for them. And that one got pretty close to the new 52-week high at 669 there, or 696 here. 699 was the high there. Hut 8 was up 3.95%, also a new high for them. IREN was up another 6.25%. This thing surprised the heck out of me, to be honest with you guys. I thought with the convertible notes, we might have a couple days in the red. But it seems like, I mean, you can see it obviously yesterday what happened with it. It was down just a little bit. It was down 2.58% on the day after they announced the convertible notes. And that thing just rocketed back up much higher here from there. So this is definitely very surprising to me, which also bodes well for us. I think going forward, this thing is going to continue to rocket up higher. We do have some information on that, on the convertible notes. And I forgot to pull this in, but we will pull this in eventually. Mara was basically flat today, 0%. Riot was up 1.32%, and Wolf had a great day today at 10.49%, new 52-week high. It might be even their all-time high here. Well, maybe not. Going back far enough, yeah. If you go back all the way back there. But it is a new 52-week high for them nonetheless. Got to 1374, closed at 1359, being up 10.49%. The Bitcoin holding companies, treasury companies there, MicroStrategy was down 3.18%. Right, these guys are not doing that well here recently. Galaxy was only up 2.53%. Galaxy is doing great. Galaxy, on the other hand, is getting into HPCI, right, with Helios facility. So this one is catching a bit as well as the miners are right now, even though they do hodl quite a bit of Bitcoin as well. Block was down a little bit here, 0.32. Coin was down just a little bit, 0.07. Metaplanet was down 2.5. Exodus was down 1.3. Nexon was down 0.73. Similar was up actually 0.43%. Phoenix was down 0.45, and GameStop was down 1.39. Small miners were all in the red here today. Biggest losers were Argo, being down 8.53% after having a nice rally here. Right, that is manipulation to me. It's easy to manipulate these stocks here, and we saw that happening on that one. Mawson was up also down today 8.87% after having a nice run up here. I mean, there's really no catalyst to run these guys up higher other than small market caps, not a lot of shares trading, right? So combine a couple of things here, and they're going to be running up much higher and coming back down in price as well. So we're seeing that on a lot of these smaller guys here right now as it is. Looking at the ETFs for the miners here, they were in the red for the most of the day, finished out in the green here today, which was nice. BitQ was up 2.01%, BKCH was up 3.65%, DAP was up 1.57%, and WGMI was up another 3.95%. This thing has been on a rocket ship, basically. I mean, you can see how this thing has been rallying. They obviously have good. We would probably have to take a look at what they have as far as holdings, but I'm guessing IREN, Cleanspark, Cipher, and others are in their holdings right now, because when those guys run up, WGMI is also running up quite nicely, and I am completely loving that right now. Ethereum holding companies here didn't have a great day either, right? BMNR was down 1.5%, BitDigital was down 0.5%, BTCS was down 4.87%, Game was down 4.6%, SBET was down 3.53%. Other companies that we can keep an eye on, see how they're doing. We got American Bitcoin was down 4.1%. Wi-Fi was down 1.6%. This thing has also been like a rocket ship here recently. OpenAI was down 4.12%. Oracle was up 2.89%. Nibius was up 8.72%. Soluna was actually down 9.19% after having a nice day yesterday. Bakkt was down 3.9%, and Fermi was down 0.26% here. I have to zoom this one out so we can actually see the chart there. On that one, that's a new one, right, that we're tracking here currently. As far as the miners here in the after hours, let's see how they're doing. We got BitDeer being down just a little bit, 1% roughly. Bitfarms is up another that changed, up 0.719% here after having a nice day today. Cipher, let's take a look at that one. That one is up right now 2.28%, so it's even higher than where it was today. The pre-market hours, Cleanspark here is up another let's see where it ends. 3.58% on that one. We got CORZ Scientific. Let's see where that one ends up at. Up 1.22%. Hive Digital is up whoa. Okay, we had some 7% there hitting. It's up 4.31% right now. Hut 8 after hours is up 2.03%. IREN here is up another 1. See where it ends. Come on. There's a lot of trading on IREN happening here right now. You can definitely see that as it's trying to catch up. Okay. All right. Let's see. 1.8. Okay. So that one's up 1.8 right now. Mara is up just a little bit here, 0.4%. Riot Platforms is actually, let's see, down just a little bit, 0.04%. TerraWolf, and that one is up nicely in the after hours as well right now. It looks like 5.15. 6.33% on that one. And then Soluna is actually up 6.225%. So a lot of these guys are still pumping here after hours right now as it is. Bitcoin for the month of October is still up 6.79% roughly, more or less. Right, we're getting into the second week here in October. We were halfway pretty much through it. Not quite, but we're getting there. Within a couple of days, we'll be halfway through it. We'll see where it ends up at. Bitcoin ETF inflows here, we'll see where that comes in at right now. We did have inflows yesterday. BlackRock again, about 426 million. And then today we'll currently have at least outflows, 57.7 million. We'll see where BlackRock comes in again, if that's positive or not for. But we've had a number of days here being positive on Bitcoin here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days. Even though we've had some days where we've been in the red here, a lot of investors are buying into the ETFs there on that one. All right, a couple of good things that we do have here. This is kind of interesting here. This is from Elon Musk. Grok companions can teach you how to speak almost any language. I've been testing this out with Annie on Grok. It is actually, I mean, it's amazing how eventually schooling is going to evolve, language learning is going to evolve. All of this stuff is going to be done by AI. And if you think we're in a bubble right now, I think you have another thing coming. I don't think we're anywhere in a bubble because all of this stuff is going to be happening relatively quickly here in the next, I would say, couple of years. We're going to see all this stuff coming to fruition, coming to life for us. And I mean, there's just so many things that are going to be impacted by all of this that's going to be done by AI. So I am extremely bullish on AI going forward here. AI infrastructure with the companies like obviously IREN, Cipher, Cleanspark, and others as well. Going forward, there's just so much demand here, and the reason for that demand is also resulting in some companies turning away customers right now. So we got this from Matthew Siegel here. Microsoft forecasts show data center crunch persists into 2026. Microsoft is struggling with lack of supply for Azure. Some customers turning away from Azure on cloud constraints. So obviously applied HUT, VRT, new 52-week highs following these heads. Also others as well. We got Mike also talking about this as well, right? Well, duh, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The demand for compute right now is massive and insatiable. And I agree here, right? Microsoft forecasts ongoing demand, data center through 2026. OpenAI remains Microsoft's largest CPU customer on Azure. The company reportedly had to turn away some Azure customers due to limited capacity. I mean, that is huge, right? That's a huge green flag for us to go forward with all of this. AI demand and infrastructure, all this stuff is going to be, it's just going to continue on here. We're nowhere near a bubble right now. Right? All of these technologies, all of these things built on AI are just going to get better and better, and they're going to be more used throughout civilization and all. We are lucky to be alive right now. Not only that, but it's going to be really, really interesting in the next 5-10 years. I believe we're going to see improvements in people's lifespans. People are going to live longer because of AI. They're going to obviously have more access to information, to knowledge, everything else, and put on top of it AI robots and things like that. And it is going to be just a fascinating time to be alive. I mean, it's like the future is coming to us right now, which we've been waiting for this future for probably 40, 50, 60, 70 years, right? When we were looking back in the 1960s, they had shows about the Jetsons. Remember the cartoons on the Jetsons? You had the robot for the family and flying cars and all that stuff. Well, we may not have the flying cars, but we are definitely getting to the point where we're going to have robots and things like that. We're living in it right now. Our kids are going to have a much different perspective on life, on civilization itself. I believe it is. I am mind blown right now. You could say I'm in awe of all the stuff that's going to be happening here. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing for civilization in general. And yes, there's going to be some pain with it. Obviously, we're going to see maybe decline in unemployment or employment in general. But I think people will navigate this as well as they have navigated other disrupting technologies in the past, right? We've seen the Industrial Revolution, computers, internet, things like that all disrupted, and people just adapted to it at that point. So I'm bullish on people, on civilization, on humanity going forward. We are going to be, there's I think it's called a Cardiff scale. I can't pronounce that word, but there's a scale for humanity, right? We're still under I think 1. We are getting close to that 1 scale on things with the amount of energy we're going to be using, then going into space as well. So it's an interesting time to be alive. Next here, we got from Black Space Media. This is a quick interview with Tyler Page there. So let's take a listen to this really quick. This is really good here. It does provide some insight as far as where do they see Bitcoin mining being in all of this. This is a couple minutes long here. I wish I could maybe zoom this out a little bit so we can make it a little bit more easily viewable there. Okay, that should work. Let's take a listen to this.
Hey, I'm Will Fox with Block Space Media. I'm joined by Tyler Page of Cipher Mining. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Hey, Will, how's it going?
So Cipher, y'all are ripping right now. You just signed a great deal with FluidStack, backstopped by Google. Tell me a little bit about that deal.
I mean, look, it's the sort of foundation for our franchise. It's our first HPC deal. It's with the best partners in the world in FluidStack and Google. I mean, it's exciting for us because we have a big portfolio of sites after that. We feel pretty credentialed working with, basically the greatest American technology company of all time.
I would agree with that, right? They have the credentials now working with Google. Going forward, it should be easier for them to attract new customers for their sites as well. So this is great. Let's continue on here.
How does Bitcoin mining fit into the future for what you guys are doing at FluidStack?
Well, I mean, we're running 23.6 exahash per second of Bitcoin mining right now. So first of all, it's providing a lot of capital for our business to go chase these deals in the first place. I think long term, it's a really nice complementary asset to HPC. Fair to say right now, if you can find long-term deals with HPC tenants, that's a very valuable thing to have as a company. But as the space evolves, the ability to use Bitcoin mining as a complementary asset with HPC, we think that's where the business evolves over time.
I tend to agree with that as well. I think Bitcoin's still going to be used by these companies here for a number of reasons, right? It could be used for curtailment reasons, right? If you have HPC you want to make sure that those sites, those AI factories, are basically operating at 100% uptime as much as possible, right? You can curtail with Bitcoin mining. You can shut those things off relatively easily. You can curtail when needed, help the grid out, and I think it's going to be a huge benefit to them as well at that point, not only to stabilize the grid, but also to keep their costs low on their overall electricity expenses going forward. So there's many benefits to doing it as well. So I think it's going to be complementary, like he said, to AI along with Bitcoin. The business, I think, is going to go forward. So I think we're going to see that throughout the industry here. Some might lower their exahash, some might increase it still, but overall, I think it will be, a symbiotic relationship between the two, I think. Let's continue on.
How is Wall Street taking a look at some of these converts and other financial instruments people are using for the AI HPC infrastructure scene?
I mean, in our case, look, I think the convert market is open. We did a great deal. We actually closed the largest digital infrastructure convertible ever done a couple weeks ago, so that was nice. We upsized it, that's why it got so big, but that's because it was 7 times oversubscribed, roughly. So great terms, no interest. When you have access to that kind of capital, we raised $1.3 billion in that deal. We both have that to pay to build the data center for FluidStack and Google, but also go play offense. I mean, we've got a great origination team. We've originated 11 sites. I hope we'll be adding more sites to that. We now have lots of dry powder. And also, we hopefully will have other leases to announce, and now we can support the equity in those deals.
Last question for you. Tell me a little bit about the other sites you guys are developing in terms of megawatts under capacity and where those are in the power pipeline or development stage.
Sure. So, I mean, we still have 56 megawatts available at the Barbara Lake site where we're doing the deal with FluidStack and Google that are available now. We also have 150 megawatts we're showing at Black Pearl. And I'll just say, for those that don't know, that's a 300 megawatt data center. We've built the first 150 for Bitcoin mining. It's wonderful, throws off a lot of Bitcoin every day, but it's fair to say that if you are capable of signing a lease on 150 megawatts, you're generally capable of signing a lease on 300 megawatts and like to ask the question. So we're having lots of interesting discussions around that. Then we have another 100 megawatt site energizing next year at Stingray, and a whole pipeline of gigawatts behind that. So it's exciting days these days.
All right. I think we're not bullish enough on Cipher, IREN, Cleanspark, and others as well in this space. They are all going to be playing a huge pivotal role in providing the megawatts that are going to be needed to fuel GPUs that then fuel the AI revolution that we're going to be seeing here in the next, 3, 5, 10 years and beyond even. But as always, we're going to obviously see Moore's Law play into effect here as well with GPUs. As time progresses, advancements will happen, better chips, faster chips, less power-hungry chips. It just all means great things for us going here forward here. And no, that's just my take on it. Okay, so awesome to hear that from Tyler Page there at Cipher. Next here, we got Bitcoin is at 4.7% world adoption, same as internet adoption in 1999. We are so early. I would agree there. We are still very, very early on Bitcoin, on AI as well. It's a double whammy there, right? If Bitcoin cooperates and actually goes up to 150, 180,000, 200,000 by, the next 6 months, or whatever it might be, that's going to fuel the fires or the ambers under those miners more, along with HPCI here. It's going to be it's definitely going to be world changing, but it's also going to be wealth changing for a lot of us and that have been with the miners for a long time, right? If you guys have been with me for the past 3 years, we've been through some definitely difficult times, but they are much, much better right now as it is. So I'm happy for that. I'm hoping that you guys are making bank on it. I hope you guys are making millions, becoming, I don't know if any of you guys are going to be billionaires off of it, but at least I hope you guys are making millions on this, because this might be like one of those opportunities in a lifetime that we are a part of right now. That's just my take. Okay. All right. That's all I got for that one here. IREN did come out with also something here. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. I'm going to pull myself up here while I try to pull up IREN as well. So bear with me on this. All right, you guys can see me here. Let me pull this up on IREN here really quick. News releases, and we'll pull this up on their prices for 875 million convertible notes. All right, here we go. Here's that part of it. So IREN prices 875 million convertible notes offering. Key details of the transaction here. They are 0% convertible senior notes due 2031. The 875 million convertible senior notes are 0% coupon, 42.5% conversion premium. Capped call transactions entered into the connection with the notes, which are expected generally to provide hedge upon conversion up to initial cap price of $120.18 per share. We are going up much higher, which represents 100% premium as compared to the 42% conversion premium, right? So that is awesome. The issuance and sale of the notes are scheduled to settle on October 14th, so that'll be next week. Subject to customary closing conditions, IREN also granted the initial purchasers of the notes an option to purchase for settlement with a period of 13 days from and including the dates of notes first issued, up to an additional 125 million pricing, right? So that obviously brings them up to about 1 billion there, more or less. I think it's going to be oversubscribed, kind of similar to what we saw with Cipher as well. We could see 1.3, 1.5 billion by the time everything is done. Maybe even go as high as 2 billion. I don't know. The way that this stock is acting, even on the news on the convertible notes, it just seems like there's just such a huge demand for it here. So we'll see on that one. Okay. Obviously, the use of proceeds are going to be used for regular general corporate purposes, right? Whatever they're going to use it for. They could use it for buying more GPUs, right? Increase the 23,000 GPUs that they have now to maybe 60,000 GPUs. Whatnot. We will have to wait and see on that, but I think there's still a lot more room for IREN here to run. Yeah, but that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Next, let's take a look at the miners here. How have they performed here over the last different time frames, I guess, on it. I updated this today for us just to take a look to see where they were and where they are right now. And here's what we have. Miner stock performance over time here. So we're going all the way back to where they pretty much bottomed out in December of 2023. December 2022 and January of 2023. So we're going from January 3rd from 2023 on these guys here. IREN is up 5,265% from their low at that point. If you got in, 2.5, almost 3 years now. If you got in on those shares at that time, you are sitting really, really, really pretty right now, right? Same thing with Cipher. Cipher's up 2,710% right now. Hut 8 is even up 1,033%. Cleanspark's up almost 899, almost 900% there. Bitfarms is up 876%. This one was lagging behind for quite a while. This thing has caught a nice ride here recently. Then you got Riot being up 561%. Bitcoin's only up 527%. Marathon's up 484. Core up 424. Hive up 354. And BitDeer wasn't public at that time, so we don't have data on them. But so we got majority of the miners that we cover at least are above Bitcoin for the most part from that time frame. The only laggers that we have right now are still Marathon, Core Scientific, and Hive. Core, obviously, we know is getting bought out by CoreWeave, right? Marathon needs to fix quite a few things, I think, in order for the stock to go up there. We'll see if they do that. Hive, we've talked about Hive many, many, many times here. It is still way undervalued, in my opinion, and we'll see if it can correct its path going forward from that time frame. And it seems like it is right now, at least. It's catching a nice bid in the markets. People are starting to love the stock there, which is nice to see as well. All right, if we look at the beginning of 2024, where are we from there? We can see IREN's up 838%. IREN is going to be like the best performer here. CORZ even up 424%, Cipher 335%, HUT is up 267%, Bitcoin's up 132%. And then we have, so those guys outperformed Bitcoin from basically a year and 9 months ago. BitDeer is only up 130%. Cleanspark still only 84% from there, right? If you recall, Cleanspark had a nice rally getting to like $24 at that point, roughly right around there. And it's come back down, so it still has a little bit of ways to go before it can surpass Bitcoin there. Hive only 58%, Riot 44%, Bitfarms 46%, Marathon's actually down 11, almost 12% from there. So Marathon is a laggard here for sure. All right, from the middle of 2024, so basically looking at where they were at the beginning of the second half there in 2024, IREN again is up 405% from there, Cipher 281, HUT up 204, Riot up 123, almost 124%. Hive is doing pretty good there, up 116%, BitDeer 93%. Core is up 83%, Bitcoin's up 66, so all of those outperform. Bitfarms up 55, Cleanspark's up 12, and Marathon's actually down 10.46%. From the beginning of the fourth quarter in 2024, we got IREN being up 726%, Cipher up 402%, HUT up 301%, Riot 214, BitDeer up 195, Hive up 135%, Cleanspark up 133%, Bitfarms up 110%, Bitcoin's up only 72% roughly, Core up 53, and Marathon 34. So all of these guys here, if you bought in last year, right around this time frame, you're actually doing pretty good here on these guys at least, right? And then when we look at the beginning of the year of 2025 here, we can see that IREN's up still huge, up 510% here. Cipher's up 272%. Bitfarms up 159. Number 3 is in performance here this year, so that's awesome to see. Hive is up 125%, doing really well also. And then you got Riot up 113, HUT 111, almost 112 there. Cleanspark 112 as well. Core up only 24%. Marathon 17%. Bitcoin's only up 8% so far. And BitDeer has underperformed there. Now, when we look at when the miners bottomed out here during the Trump tariffs here, beginning of 4/2/2025, they've all tremendously outperformed Bitcoin here, one way or another, at least by a minimum of at least looks like 2x to 3x. And a lot of these guys even a heck of a lot more. IREN's up 844%. So if you got in on the bottoms, right when the Trump tariffs were announced, when things were bottoming out, you are doing very, very good here right now as well. Within the last, what has it been, 6 months or so, somewhere around 5 months or something like that, you're doing very well. IREN's up 844%, Cipher up 578, Bitfarms up 386%, Hive 332%, HUT 8 up 246%, Riot up 177, Cleanspark up 150%, BitDeer 116, Core up 114, Marathon up 62 even, and Bitcoin's only up 26% from that bottom there. So we're definitely seeing an outperformance here in the miners here compared to Bitcoin, at least since, well, we can look back quite a few time spans, and for the most part, they are outperforming Bitcoin here, which is kind of what we would expect, which is kind of what I would expect, right? Bitcoin miners are a proxy. Now they're a proxy also on AI, which adds fuel to the fire for them as well, and it has been a fantastic ride here recently. It wasn't the case here all along, right? It wasn't the case here just going back to April of this year. We had a lot of people that were very, very pessimistic on the excuse me, on the miners. Right, the miners are dead. Miners are not going back up to their highs that they reached in 2024 or 2023, whatever it was. People were just bashing them like crazy here. And where are all those people that used to bash them? They're all gone, right? They didn't have the conviction that we had in these guys here, and unfortunately, they missed out on a huge rally in these things. And we're seeing also a lot more people getting into being bullish on the miners again on X and other places as well. You're just seeing a heck of a lot more comments and posts and everything else about, these things are going much higher because of this, because of that, whatever it might be. You have a lot more people that are very, very bullish right now on it. And we still, I believe, have a lot more room to run here on these guys as well. So that is at least nice to see that we have that kind of a change and perspective on these things. But it's mostly driven by HPCI, which is fine, right? We were in this space for Bitcoin mining, but it just so happened that HPCI has been really, really good for us. I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it, right? So we'll leave it at that. As always, spreadsheets are going to be available to my Patreon members. Link for that is down in the description. I'll provide this to you guys. I did not update you guys today. I forgot. I got busy. But I will get this updated for you guys, so you guys will have the stock performance here, and along with core scientific updates for September as well, which will be included in that. So they'll be coming out. I'll probably do that later on tonight when we're done with the Q&A and then finish off the stream here. All right, so let's get into Q&A here, so what you guys have to say. But man, this is a fun time to be in right now. I'm excited for the future. I really am. But you guys can let me know what you guys think. All right, let's get into it here. Really quick questions, as always. If you could preface those with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it here. And I'm going to scroll my way up and work my way down, as always, on these things. So it may take me a while to get to your question. Be patient. I will get to it eventually here. Righty, let's see what we got here. Trying to find out questions here. Okay, I'll start right here, I think. All right. Kaz says, I went from 230,000 to now 500,000. Congratulations, that's awesome. And that was just with Bitfarms. Okay, that's awesome. SK's got a question. Is Cipher still cheap at $17 to $18? I believe so, yeah. I think it's still cheap. I think it can still run up higher. They have plenty of sites. We heard it in the interview here with Tyler Page. They got 56 megawatts plus another 150 megawatts available to them here shortly. And then 2026, they have more megawatts and even gigawatts at that point. All right. Victor C, does TeraWolf have more sites ready for HPCI like Cipher? They do have sites that they are building out. I don't know what the exact numbers of megawatts available to them relatively quickly here, but I think it's going to be 2026, 2027 that they can build those out there as well. The Detail Bluff says, Hive after hours exploded. Yeah, it's doing really good, which is nice. And thanks for coming in. Victor C, what miners still undervalued with a big upside? Cleanspark, I think, Bitfarms, Hive as well. After that, we got, obviously, we think that IREN can do, or at least go up to at least $100 here, possibly even maybe more than that. Cipher, I think, also should be up higher. Riot, if they get a deal for HPCI, that one's going to go up like crazy as well. So a lot of these guys still have a lot of potential, in my opinion, on that one. All right, to Dad's Market Stats. Good evening, Seb and Miner family. I'm watching my Giants pit the smackdown on the Eagles. I was going to watch that, but I had to prepare for the show. I was going to watch that on Thursday nights here. But, priorities. I got priorities, unfortunately. Guy, Cleanspark pumping after hours, $20.80. That's awesome. Dan Golden, just accept the extra zeros at the end of the IREN sitting in your exchange. Embrace it. I would agree. Yeah. Guy, lots of seller orders at 22 for Cleanspark. Anything to worry? They do have their options, or not their options. So their convertible notes, I think, is at $24 around there. So I think a lot of people are trying to get sell at that point before it. I think that's the reason for it there. All right. Let's see. Sarmelin, IREN is way undervalued. I would agree there. I think it still has a lot more room upside. Michael, what do you think about SBET? SBET is the Ethereum holding company there, right? Like I said before, on those guys, on the whether it's Ethereum or Bitcoin, I love the fact they're buying that stuff up like crazy and taking off exchanges, because it then creates a supply shortage, right? I'm not a big fan of them overall because, well, how much of a premium should they really get on the treasury that they have there of Ethereum or Bitcoin, regardless of what it is? I could pay maybe a little bit of a premium, but not much. But if I want to get into Ethereum or Bitcoin, I'm going to get, the ETFs is one, possibly a better way to go, or just buy out the coin there directly, right? Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I don't know how much of a premium they should get on it. All right, SK question, Applied Digital, I'm guessing, 20% post earnings. Do you see Cipher also going up post their earnings? Depending what they mention as far as their progress on HPCI, where are they on those things? Where are they with future contracts with other customers as well? Then yes, they might also run on that. Bitcoin production has improved for them as well. That is generating more revenue for them, so that's a good thing. But I just don't know if they're going to be EPS positive on that alone. All right, let's see. B82, buying Hive and Bitfarms every week for the last 2 years has finally paid off very well. Yeah, that's awesome. With not only them, but also with IREN, with Cipher, with Cleanspark as well. If you were buying the dips on these things as they were going down, yes, it was painful because you were at times, negative 30, 40% or whatever it might have been. But if you held through that, you had conviction in it, you're definitely being rewarded right now as it is on those. And we were just maybe a couple years too early on these things. All right, YKY, hi Seb, with diminishing returns, how could BTC possibly reach 1 million? It will take light years to do so, or does everyone expect it to start moving like gold after its ETF? That's kind of the assumption there a little bit, right? Gold had a great run after the ETFs came out. You're also seeing a supply crunch on Bitcoin, right? So the less available Bitcoin that there's out there, the more the price is going to go up because people are going to be bidding up to get it. You also are seeing, obviously, companies buying it. You're also seeing potentially countries buying it. Other actors are getting into it as well that are trying to get it. So it's a supply and demand economics part of the thing, right? The less of something that's out there, the higher the price is going to go up. So that should drive it up itself over time. All right, let's see here. B82, is Mara as undervalued versus peers as they now appear? Yeah, they are. I believe they are. But there's probably reasons for that, right? We've talked about those reasons in the past. Operations have not been consistent for them as far as great uptimes. When it comes to Bitcoin mining here, they've also ventured into many different things. 2PIC immersion. They've ventured into also creating their own CPUs for ASICs that they can change out, software into that. They've ventured into buying wind farms, which I think is actually good for use with older generation ASICs. You can plug those in and basically mine them for free there. So I think that's actually good there. But they also invested in Auradine. They've invested in other companies as well. It seems like they got their little hands in everything and not really focusing on things. That's kind of the way I would say it. Plus, you add on top of the huge compensation for management there and continued dilution because they hodl everything, or at least they have. It seems like they're selling it here now, recently at least. So we'll see if they change their tunes a little bit, change things around, and maybe at that point they can get better value on the markets. All right, MJS, do you know what the power source for the miners that have data centers in Texas? Are they attached to the Texas grid or separate renewable sources? They are attached to the grid. A lot of that grid is going to be wind, solar, and I'm sure there's some obviously gas, natural gas, and nuclear as well. So it's a mix of those things. Maybe there's some coal in there. I'm not sure if there's any coal though on it. All right, more Tim. After the September 2024 rate cut, Bitcoin didn't really move until a month later. We are getting close to a real move. Maybe the Fed meeting at the end of the October plus seasonality will light it. Maybe. I mean, we saw a nice run up here just recently. I think it's just taking a little pause here, and then it will continue going back up here. All right, Sour Balance says gaming is going to IREN is going over $100, which is nice. Definitely love to see that. If it gets over, I think I need it to be like $140 in order for it to be 7 figures a gain on that one for me. So if it can get to $140, I would love to see that. Sour says IREN 250, 300, 18 months price target. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then yeah, that would if you hold on to it that long and it gets to there, that's gonna be awesome gains. B82 question: cover call premium on IREN for November 25th or beyond is quite high. Reminds me of GME during its run. Started selling calls at 95 on 10% of my shares. Hope to start clipping some profits. Okay. All right. Victor C. What miners are going to get revenue next year? Are the ones with revenue have more upside, or does it not matter because I see Cleanspark going up only on news? What are the thoughts? News versus revenue. News is driving them right now. Revenues later on will sustain them, I think, right? So you're going to need revenues later on. Right now it's just news driven, right? Maybe you can say a little bit of hype, but it is news driven. If you're getting into HPCI, getting megawatts available for it as well, and you can actually execute on it, that is driving things right now. But eventually you're going to need revenues to back it up, basically. That's the way I would see it. Des Market Stats, any update on the new ETF for momentum stocks meme? No, I have not looked into that one yet. I still have to look at that one. B82, with capped calls in IREN, will capped calls in IREN cause dilution above 120? If so, this may be fairly smooth ride to that portion. I believe that's the way it works. Some of you guys here that have more experience on that will, you guys can chime in and obviously in the comments. But I believe that's the way it works. There's some protection until that point. And I mean, they could pay the capped calls with cash, with Bitcoin. They have ways to possibly pay off that debt there, or that convertible notes. Let's see here. XB products or prod question: sold all my Bitfarms shares thinking it would bounce on previous high. In your opinion, is it worth waiting for a major pullback and missing this run, or getting in lower position is a wise move? I personally like to dollar cost average in. So if there is a little dip here during the day on these things, I would buy in on the dips. We don't know where the top is, let alone where it could possibly come back down to a low. So that's the way I would attack it, is getting in on any dips that are seen during the day and dollar cost average into it. That's just me though, but that's going to be completely up to you as far as how you want to handle that move there. All right. DAS market stats: sell $5 puts on significant dip, you will still catch the upside. Okay, there's another way to do it. Let's see. Dan Golden, Mike Alfred, pumping it. Yeah, which is great. I mean, he's pumping obviously IREN, Cipher, and Cleanspark here, which at first he wasn't on Cleanspark's side there for a little bit, but then for whatever reason he had dinner with my Matt Schultz there. Whatever Matt mentioned to him or not mentioned to him, definitely got him on the side of Cleanspark here. So that's kind of nice. All right. The BD2 XB prod, you may want to consider selling puts if you get it pulled. Okay, there you go. There's some advice there. Kyle says Kardashev. There we go. That's the one, Kardashev scale, right? Alexander Hogg question: at what price will you start taking profits from IREN? Everyone seems to be eyeing $100. There might be a sell wall, obviously, or a lot of selling happening right around there. That's like a psychological high for a lot of people. I may sell a little bit going into that. I don't know. I may hold on to it. We'll see what IREN does, right? If IREN comes out within a couple of weeks that they're getting GPUs to, 60,000 or something like that, I may just not do anything. I may just hold on to everything for the time being. It just depends on what kind of news comes out. Sauer says, hold on. Alex, hold on. Yeah. Let's see. Ricky, question: are you looking at any non-Bitcoin mining data center companies? We are looking at, I'm looking at least like at Nibius, at Applied Digital as well. Applied was a Bitcoin miner at one point, or hosted Bitcoin mining sites. I'm looking at a couple of them just to see how they are actually doing. To be honest with you, my cash is pretty much fully in already as it is. So not a lot of cash that I can put into something else unless I sell like Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Cipher, or IREN right now, which I do not want to do. Alexander Hawk, I need a number though. So yeah, you're looking to see what I might be saying. I don't know. It will depend greatly on what kind of news we get from IREN going forward here. Let's see. Sarman says, let's get over 100 first, then I'll get back to you on that. I'm ultimately eyeing $200 to $300. That would be awesome if it gets to that. Victor, Cipher can use the BTC mined to pay for new sites. Is this something they can do? Yeah. They're cash flow positive on the Bitcoin mining side of things. It's when you include the depreciation and site-based compensation, which are non-cash. They should be able to pay for, they have also 1,500 Bitcoin right now as it is, so they do have some cash on that as well to buy new sites if they wanted to. And they have done that in the past as well. They've used that Bitcoin to buy sites. All right, let's see, desk market stats. Alex, sell way out of the money calls after a spike, take profits monthly. There you go. There's some tidbits from everybody else. Let's see, Alexander Sauer, are you holding this past 2026? Did you mean Cipher there maybe? I'm holding on right now. I have not seen anything that would deter me from not holding, but I'm keeping an eye on all the stuff here that's happening. And right now I'm still holding. Maybe that's to my detriment, but I'm holding right now. Let's see, Sarmelis is not sure on that. Alexander, are you taking any profits? I'm not taking any profits. I don't know if Sauer's not also holding. Real Rug DY, what are you testing on Amy? I'm not sure what that is in regards to. Sauer says, I'm holding, not selling, same as I am. Victor C. Cipher CEO mentioning franchise, that's a big deal. Was it not like a franchise opportunity? You wouldn't open up franchises of Cipher, right? Was he talking about, I must have missed that. I don't know. I must have missed that one. All right. Alexander, have you considered taking covered calls, profits at least? Okay, you guys are having conversation between you guys there. All right. Victor C. After Cipher, IREN, what miners HPCI next remain as and fastest revenue? Right now, it seems like maybe Cleanspark, right? From what we've heard, at least from Mike and his comments on Cleanspark here, he has a pretty good, strong belief that they will be like right in that range there, right? With aligning with IREN, Cipher, and obviously Cleanspark there. see. Alexander says convertible notes took 1 day with -5% and today was green. That was terrific. Yeah, that is definitely something I have not seen here recently. Premium no recalls, kind of insane. That's me. All right, let's see if there's any questions here. You guys are having a conversation. Then Kaz asks, anyone know where Chris is? Chris is hopefully doing okay. Yeah, we haven't seen Chris in a while. All right. See, Alexander Mara is still around. How, though throw it in the garbage, I guess. Yeah, Mara has not been doing that well. Sour says, rest in peace, Chris. Well, I hope he hasn't. I hope he's still around, right? Victor C. Cipher and Bitfarms, which one has bigger upside? Thanks. I think short-term wise, we're looking at Cipher. Cipher has more megawatts available to them in the next, I would say, 6 to 12 months than Bitfarms does. So, but Bitfarms could surprise us because they do have a great site or a great couple sites in Pennsylvania, which are in a huge metropolitan area. So never count that out as well. All right, Andre. Hey, Seb. Maybe, Seb, you might want to consider changing the focus to former BTC miners, now switching to HPCI. Are there really any pure miners left? Mara right now, really, the one that I know. So that's kind of where we are at. But that's kind of why I labeled the video title BTC AI, right? Because they do both Bitcoin and AI right now. What else we got here? Yeah, B82 says miner is still primarily a miner. Yeah. All right. Steve says, nice video, our dude. Thanks. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in as always. Carl, thanks for the great work, Sebastian. Love the channel. If you had $100 to allocate across IREN, Cleanspark, Bitfarms, and Cipher, how would you spend your money with a 12-month horizon? I would probably put it in, geez, that's a good question. The smart thing might be to go like 50% IREN. Then I would go maybe 25% Cleanspark, and then I would split the rest between Bitfarms and Cipher at that point. Cleanspark seems to be more undervalued right now than Cipher is, and Bitfarms is also more undervalued. But that's kind of the way I would kind of go about it, right? Not financial advice as always. But if you're looking for potentially the most gains, then you might go with like Cleanspark, Bitfarms, and then Cipher, IREN, do kind of the opposite thing. But you just never know how things are going to work out there. All right. David says, money coming into miner corporations to buy the next round of equipment. Equipment as far as ASICs or GPUs there. Yeah. Rogue, Koala, feeling so bullish now for IREN to $120 from the convertible notes. Wow. Yep. AJ, if you wanna to buy mining or AI HPC stocks, which one's still undervalued? Yeah, so I talked about that. I think Cleanspark's still undervalued. Bitfarms, Hive as well. Those guys are undervalued. Cipher, right, if they continue to get more contracts as well. A lot of these guys are going to be still undervalued as always. Let's see here. Young Dave, Seb, as usual, thanks so much for all you do for us. You never lost hope. Happy to be on this ride with you. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Mortem, you said you'd taken some IREN off the table at 100. What percentage would you use the proceeds to buy more Bitcoin? I wouldn't get into Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to go up over a period of years, right? It's going to continue to go up, appreciate in value over time. I think there are other vehicles that might outperform that. Some of the vehicles that might be going here forward would be quantum computing, space exploration as well, robots. I think there's other things that might be outperforming Bitcoin here in the next couple of years, right? We're kind of, at least based on what I'm seeing here over the last year, right? Bitcoin's kind of, yeah, it's going up, but it's nowhere what we have seen in prior cycles. It's been basically overcome by institutions, I think, and they're going to just run it up slowly and over time. That's just kind of my take on it right now. I could be wrong on that. Okay, Brody, have you taken any profits at all? I have not. So, not at least within the last couple months, right? If you guys recall, I did sell a little bit of Cleanspark and IREN when I was up on them about a couple months back, and I bought Cipher at that point because I didn't have any exposure to Cipher, so I wanted to get exposure to Cipher as well. I did that this year. I sold last year a little bit of Bitfarms when I was still in the green on them, positive on them, and I bought more IREN and Cleanspark at that point. And then last year as well, in the summer, I sold a portion of my Cleanspark because I was in nice profits on that one, and bought a bunch of IREN, right? So I have done that in the past to kind of reallocate and buy more things that I wanted to buy at that point. But so far, recently, after this run that we've had here, I have not taken any profits at all. All right, Chris, still having in Cipher and IREN both, but both had major up and down swings 2 to 3 months ago. Seem to have leveled out, so I'm staying put now. Very happy at current positions. Okay, that's awesome. DRVS Mara is very quiet. They haven't really signaled that they're getting deep into HPCI. They have taken a stake in a company that builds data centers, I believe. So that was at least a positive there, but nothing concrete from them. The Senketh, what happening with Mara and Canon? Mara, we talked about that obviously. Canon has not performed nowhere near as well as Bitcoin has. It has underperformed. And I've been talking about them probably for the last year and a half or so. I've been kind of mentioning, right? Canon's not really following Bitcoin more or less. It's kind of being left to the side a little bit. See, DRB says, why Mara quiet? No, talked about that pretty much. Any videos from other companies back? Yep. Okay. All right. AJ, any idea about CORZ fair value? Well, CORZ fair value doesn't really apply anymore since they're being bought out by CORZ Scientific, right? They signed to the deal to get bought out at about $20 or something like that, roughly at, what was it, $9 to $10 billion at that point. We do have the vote coming up here for the shareholders to vote on it. We'll see if it passes. If it passes, that's it, right? If it doesn't pass at that point, they might renegotiate. Or CoreWeave could just go, well, screw this. We're just going to have our contracts for the electricity there, or for the megawatts, right, for the co-location, and call it a day. But, you know, CORZ Scientific has a lot of shares owned by institutions, and the institution may just vote for it there. So we shall see in a couple weeks. See, Steve's very, very happy to be holding IREN, Cipher, Wolf, Soluna, BTR, Mara, unfortunately. Okay. All right. What could Hive get to price-wise? I think it still has at least a 2x from where it's at right now to be kind of fairly valued compared to their peers, just on Bitcoin mining and then their HPCI potential as well. All right. Now, Applied dropped off after hours from 29 to 34, or popped. Sorry, popped, not dropped. Yeah, that one obviously is getting recognized a little bit there for the demand on HPCI. All right, Hard Knocks, Mar and Riot, I feel, are going to have an IREN type move coming. They might. We don't know, right? Anything is possible in this space. Victor C, question, I made a huge mistake by selling IREN. I had 30,000 shares. If I held, I would have two. Oh, yeah, wow. And you had a really good price target, or price per share there at $4. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That is rough, but there's no shame in taking profits, right? So you can always look. That's the hard part. When you're in the future, right, and you look back, you're like, oh, man, I could have done something different. You kind of learn from those things at that point. So unfortunately, you had to go through that process to learn. Then maybe sometimes you don't sell everything. You could have sold maybe a smaller portion of it or a percentage of that, and sold as it was going up as well. And yeah. But it's one of those things you got to learn, unfortunately. I've learned that as well myself. So I'm with you on that boat. I learned it back in 2021. All right, Alexander Hawk. So how many of you already told your boss at the job to watch his mouth? I have not, right? I'm going to continue to work. What else am I going to do? Right. I enjoy being active. I enjoy being out there. It gives me something to do. Even if I have several $1 million, I'm still going to go to work. It doesn't change my life at all. Well, obviously it's a peace of mind thing where you no longer have to worry about, do I have enough money to pay the bills? Do I have money to do this? Do I have enough money to do that? It is just a pressure that's taken off your brain at that point, and you can concentrate on other things as well. So I'm going to continue to work. All right. Carl Elliott, little financial info for folks. You can use self-directed IRA. I use Medicine Trust to set up a Coinbase account and buy BTC Ethereum directly in IRA and not pay capital gains. That's absolutely a good way to do it. There's a lot of people that do that right now as it is. All right, Senketh, any idea about CRYBF? It went bonkers in 2017 and 2021. I do not even know who that is, to be honest with you. All right, Hard Knock says Cleanspark looks to be heading to $30 per share. It does. Drago's Team IREN Cipher and now Hive checking in. Awesome. B82 question Mars, a potential buyout. Value is barely more than the hodl. Seems like something should happen. But they're not gonna. I don't think that they would, sign off on any kind of deal unless it was at least double where they are valued right now, or even if not tripled valued from where they are right now. They know that what they have here, they're just being undervalued right now as it is. PLG, we ahead of you there. Okay. The machine. I feel like Mara is the next miner to start running. It's been such a dog lately. It has been, and it might. I'm not saying that I won't, but we also know that there's some issues in the company there. Dragos, hope so. Hard Knocks holding 26,000 shares, Cipher 20,000 shares of IREN, and 20,000 shares of Hive. I'm all in on the data center plays story. That's awesome. Let's see what's here. All right, Ryan's got a question here. When are you going to start getting more than 300 likes per video? That's when we're close to the top, I'd guess. It might be a little bit more time than that, but the viewership is growing, so that's nice, right? People are obviously interested in the space, which is awesome to see, and hopefully we can provide at least a little bit of alpha there. All right, Hard Knocks agree on Mara. I think explosive move coming. Okay. What else we got here? All right, crypto game Litecoin ETFs should go through later today, hence why it's up 13% in the last few hours. I think it's only getting started. I held Litecoin for a while there, and I think I maybe have just a little bit left of what I had from there. But yeah, that was the next. I mean, that thing was like at one point, was it in 2017, 2018? I can't remember when it was, but it was like in the top 5 of cryptos. I'm not even sure where it's at right now. All right, let's see here. HB says I had 1,480 shares of applied at 1136 and sold at 14. You have any market regrets to make me feel better? LOL. Yeah, I mean, you guys are not alone in this. There's a lot of people that have done the same thing. Mark, what can be bought now? Winners are dip buyers. I mean, there's still quite a few things that are undervalued. Like I said, I think Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Hive as well. Right. I even think IREN can obviously go up much higher. Cipher, same thing. Then you got Riot, that has potential. Hut 8 has gone up quite nicely here. I think we need to hear more from them as far as where are they getting, a contract in place or something like that. But a lot of these guys still can run here. Okay, Drago's asking, anyone else doing covered calls? I'm sure there's quite a few of you guys doing here covered calls as well. Andre, Seb, any thoughts about Oracle losing 100 million with HPCI? Thanks, keep up the good work. I think was misexaggerated on that a little bit. I don't think they lost. I could be wrong on this, but what I read was that they were only getting like a profit margin of like 16 or 18% on their HPCI with maybe OpenAI. I think it's OpenAI. So it's actually not that bad. I'm not sure where you're getting the 100 million, but maybe I missed something there. But again, right, they're in this stage of build out. They're building out as much data centers as they can, or they're partnering with people to build out data centers to host a HPCI. In the beginning, it's going to be costly because those data centers need to be built out, especially if you're going to be building out for the latest generation chips from NVIDIA, which are liquid cooled to the chip. It's a different setup altogether. So those need to be built out still. All right. Okay, AJ, if you wanted to buy mining or HPCI stocks, which ones would you still? Yeah, I talked about that already. Desmarket steps. If you get to 7 figures portfolio next year, how long did it take you to get there? Well, it's been basically 3 years, right? We started back in 2022, basically. This is when I started to buy into these guys here. I didn't know where they were going to bottom out. So I started basically at 0 in the market at that point. And it would have been basically 3-4 years, 2022, 2026. Yeah, about 3 to 4 years that it took me to get there. All right. Andre also applied, actually dropped red after ER, but popped when CEO mentioned another 2 possible 3 deals coming. Okay. So I was popping on that as well. Victor Hope Cipher is the next IREN. If they get into their own Neo Cloud business, then I think they might be as well. The only difference is Cipher has a lot more shares, so that will limit a little bit of where the stock price could go, but it still could go up nicely as well. All right, let's see. Can Cleanspark hit 40 this year? This year, I don't know. I'd like to see it. Obviously, got to $20 right now. We have a couple more months to go in this year. If they announce something decent, then I think it might happen there. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. My throats are getting dry. All right, Steezy, bro, I can't even pronounce that. Long miners shorting IREN at these levels. Nothing personal, boys. Nothing personal. I mean, a lot of people will think that you're going to get wrecked, right? So just be careful with shorting these guys here, especially as they are going on a parabolic rise or parabolic run. There's just such an appetite for AI in general. Be careful. This may not be the time to get into it at this point. All right. Seb, check out Google Trends on IREN. Massive surge and surge lately. I wouldn't be surprised, right? I mean, I'm seeing a huge spike on X alone from people that I don't follow and everything else. It's just popping up there for IREN, for Cipher, for Cleanspark, for even for Bitfarms, and even Hive too. I'm seeing a lot of that happening out there as it is. All right. Paris, question. My Cleanspark position is 2x. My Cleanspark call options are 8x and will let my winners run. So not selling soon. My Mara position is 17% up. Should I give it time or rotate out of Mara for lagging? Okay. I have not been a big fan of Mara this cycle, as you guys may know. Right. I've nagged on them for not having great operational uptime when it comes to Bitcoin mining here. And they seem to be behind the ball a little bit when it comes to HPCI as well. So if they turn that around and they actually get into HPCI and get into it heavily here within the next couple of months, right, to half a year or something like that, then maybe the stock will obviously get re-rated at that point. Right now, I don't know. That's a tough call to say. I had a couple of shares. I had 140 shares of Mara. I sold those and bought more of Cipher and Bitfarms a couple months back, right? Because it just wasn't doing anything. I did that. So it's up to you. You know, it's going to be your call. It could be one of those things where you sell and it does end up running at the end, right? I've had that happen before too. All right, sorry, Melon. Dan Roberts said on earlier this week that pretty soon here they're going to be getting to 60,000 GPUs. Current fleet is less than 2% of their footprint. Massive expansion capacity. I would agree. Yeah. If they're only using 2%, they're getting 500 million from that going forward next year. Then yeah, I mean, think about the potential that's there of what they could possibly do. Let's see. A Perfect Day says Chris is crying under his troll bridge. I hope he's okay, right? I don't want anything bad to happen to any of you guys, whether you guys were trolls or not. I want you guys all to, become as wealthy as you can become. Mike L. Ben hinted at news, possibly this month. Do you know if he was specifically talking about the Sharon site things? I don't know. Nobody knows on that one, unfortunately. We'll find out when they do release something there. Andre, the cap call on the conversion prevents dilution, so it protects the holders from dilution. Okay. Yeah. Hard IREN, I think, is actually getting overheated. It's had a massive run up here, right? But again, what is the potential there for that stock, right? Only 2% bringing in 500 million on HPCI. What happens when they utilize the rest of the percentage out there? How much revenue is that going to be generating for them at that point? Sarmelon says, now IREN still on value at 16 billion. Paul Brown, yes, IREN overheated now, and I'm looking to buy a pullback soon before 100 and money will rotate into tomorrow. Okay. YN, how is IREN able to build a site for AI mixed at 650,000 per megawatt, and the rest of the companies need to invest around 10? Okay. They're building out not redundant sites as far as electricity is concerned, so that's saving a lot of costs on it. But we'll see what where's he at? You would probably know, Gary. As far as Horizon 1, if that's going to be more of a tier 2, tier 3, or is it still going to be like a tier 1 data site for that one, for Horizon 1? I'm not sure on it. I'm drawing a blank on it right now in my memory. But yeah, that's the reason why. They're not building a tier 3 data center site, which is then cost between $8 to $12 million per megawatt. So that's the main reason why. Okay, let's see. David says, NVIDIA making AI chips for mining. Yes, most miners looking into AI data centers, but mining still needs to happen, right? Yes. Yeah, mining's still going to continue on, I think. All right. Mr. X, what's your opinion if there will be a crypto winter and if the miners will crash as hard as in the past? What is my opinion of that? Okay, so my belief is that it will be less plausible for that to happen here. The miners are running on HPCI potential, and Bitcoin has been acting completely differently from 2017 cycle, 2021 cycle even. The amount of institutions that are getting into it as well, I don't think they're going to let it crash, 40, 50, 60, 70% down. We've seen it obviously go down 30% here twice in the last year. I think that might be the max it goes down again. And the miners at that point crashed. So you are right. They did crash on those events when Bitcoin was crashing down. Now that the narrative has changed on the miners for HPCI, I think that will kind of, not absorb, but it will kind of buffer them from those drawdowns potentially. I mean, we're seeing obviously now, the last couple of times here, Bitcoin has kind of come down 2, 3, 4, 5%, whatever it's been here recently within the last couple of days, weeks. Miners still continue to run up. So time will tell, right? I could be wrong on that, like I said, but this is kind of what my thoughts are on it right now. All right, Bevneet, is Bitfarms still undervalued? If so, what is the true value? I think the true value is probably closer to like $6, I think. That's kind of where I would think they start getting kind of on par with where they should be valued at that point. All right, Cleanspark seems pretty solid. Are you buying more? I bought more a couple weeks back, right? About 6 weeks back, 7 weeks back now, I can't remember. I bought at that point. I have a lot of it right now. I'm just holding on to it. And like I said, I'm kind of strapped for cash as it is right now. I'm renovating the basement here, building out the basement here. That's taking up my capital here, which I would have probably used to buy into them. But, the miners are running up so nicely here. It's just like, let's see where they go. And I don't want to sell anything that I have right now to help pay for this stuff because I think there's just so much more gains to happen here. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Okay, what else we got here? All right, Kevin says, I've gotten out of leverage for the miners. Technically, we're running pretty hot. We could have a short-term pullback in the coming months. Locked in 300,000 gains, still have a long position in stocks. Okay, awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we could have a little bit of dip here on the miners, right? What kind of a dip could we have? 10, 15% or something like that. That I think that would be okay. All right, Bevneet, should I sell Mara and buy Cleanspark? That is your call there, right? Look at each company. Where are they in the process right now for HPCI? How have they performed historically as well? And then which one do you like more basically on that? That's the way I would look at it. All right. It seems like some of you guys already did that. Sold Mara and got into Cleanspark here. Benny says, I feel like Cleanspark will surprise us. It's already surprised me a little bit here, the way it's running up here recently, which is nice. All right, Sandeep, $1 million question is when to sell. That is, there is so much going on in HPCI. I don't want to sell too early after waiting for this moment for years. What's the exit plan? I mean, that's going to be based on you, right? And your, what's the word I'm looking for there? Oh gosh, there's a word that I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to blank on it. Your tolerance to risk, basically, right? So whatever your risk tolerance is, that's going to depend on you. Everybody's different on it. I may have a higher tolerance than you, so I may wait longer to sell, but eventually when I do start selling, it's going to be, I'm going to take 5% here, maybe 5 to 10% there, and do that as they're going up or when they're coming down as well at that point. But it's up to you. DeFi says, writing Cleanspark to 50 at least end of year. If we double from here to the end of the year, that's going to be sweet. That's going to be kind of where I thought it would be actually, right? When we talked about it a couple of years back, about a year back, 2 years back, we were thinking that Cleanspark would get to like $60, $70 per share. So that would be sweet. Paul Brown, when everyone and their grandma talking about IREN, that's time to sell the hype, in my opinion. Yeah, when you have your gardener or when you have your dry cleaning person talking about how they're killing it on IREN, yeah, it might be the time to get out. All right, Kevin says, I'm happy to hold the stock long. I just don't want to be caught on the leverage side. Yeah, that's why I don't do leverage. I just buy regular shares of these companies here. All right, B82 question is, holding CORZ worth it now and selling and buying others? Seems it is now primarily a play on, it is a play on CORZ. So the only reason you would hold CORZ now is, one, that they get bought out by CoreWeave, and then you believe that CoreWeave is going to do much better going forward. That's the only reason you would hold that one right now. Other than that, it doesn't really make much sense. I mean, you might have a little bit more of an upside here in stock price, but you may have better options with some of the other miners that are running right now. Just my take. All right. Let's see. Young Dave says, sorry if I missed it. Taking notes. Did you have a Bitfarms target or see it above 7 by the end of the year? I said, I think somewhere around $6, I think is where it might be fairly valued. So when it gets up to that, it could obviously run up much higher because of the HPCI things. We don't know, but could it get to $7? I mean, the way things are running right now, it might be possible. I'm not going to say no. But I think everything's kind of running right now. All right, DeFi Cleanspark can have Cipher type of run. It seems like building up. I see a lot of retail interest coming back. I do see that as well. So we'll see. Hard Knocks says, Mar and Riot are power kegs ready to bust out. Big in my opinion. I hope you're right there. I hope, for you and everybody else that has Mar and Riot, I hope they do very, very well. I want all these boats to get lifted up here. All right, let's see. DeFi says, Mar 1 until HPC, pivot, Cleanspark, better option. That's kind of what I think here right now as well. What else we have here? Paul Brown, exactly. Hard Knocks writing is on the wall. The whales rotate the money into cheaper plays. Possibly. Yeah, we've seen that as well. Cleanspark option up 100% in 2 weekish. Writing this to 10x. Nice. Let's see. Trying to find other questions here. Seb, let's see. I hold 1,685 shares of Mara and 900 shares of Clean. Should I sell 600 shares of Mara and buy Clean? Seems like Clean will hit 50 before Mara. I'm thinking the same thing here, but that's your call again, right? You're going to have to make the decision. Nobody can make the decision for you. I just try to provide you guys with data where I see things possibly going. I try to sometimes tell you what I would kind of do or what I'm kind of doing already, but it's going to be your decision, right? I never wanted to come back saying that you told me to do this and, it backfired. So I want you to do whatever you feel like is the right thing to do. All right. BS says, could you add Bitfarms to your sheets? I missed it earlier. I do have it in my sheets, but my sheets for the quarterly results on these guys here with IREN also going to quarterly results, not monthly results. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it where I can have possibly all these guys in one sheet again, but I need to think about it here. Maybe I'll do some thinking and pondering over that over the weekend here. All right. Young Dave says, 214 watching. Come on, guys, hit the like button. Yeah. Wow, that is a lot. Okay, things are definitely improving here. Thank you so much for that, though. BS with Bitfarms, the HPCI story isn't priced in yet. It's kind of getting priced in, but the potential there, I think, is much more. See, Prod FTW says, I'm keeping Seb a secret. You guys like and share all you want. Okay, appreciate that. DeFi says Cleanspark above 20. It is above 20. Hammers. Seb, you are an awesome analyst. Been watching for a long time when miners were dead. You deserve it, man. Congrats to you and your community. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it has been easy. We've had people come in. We've had people leave as well. But that's the market, right? People are always chasing the shiny thing, and the miners were that dull, beaten down thing for a long time. So I completely understand it, but I still had faith in those things would actually do good on Bitcoin going up. Bitcoin's going up a little bit here, but the thing has completely changed for them with AI narrative there. Sarah says, shorting IREN is a death sentence. I would agree right now. Yeah. Let's see. Dan asked, does IREN have t-shirts and hats available for us to purchase? There is if you follow us on the Bitcoin mining mafia on X, there are some IREN shirts. I don't know if they're for sale. I think they're being given out there. So who's it out there? Bitcoin Bella, if you check her out, she has some info on that. I think I saw something being posted today on it. So check that out. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Trying to catch up here a little bit. All right. The great one. Why wouldn't other miners be able to do similar crazy run that IREN has pulled off? Okay. They can do that, right? The big thing is having the megawatts, having the sites available, right? IREN has Childress right now, Sweetwater 1, Sweetwater 2, and they've been getting into HPCI since last year with getting GPUs installed and things like that. So they've been in this for about a year now. So they've had an advantage over some of the other miners there. And they're going into their own, they're becoming like a neo cloud provider, basically. If other miners do that as well and have the available megawatts there, I think they can run as well. But right now, IREN is the queen when it comes to this. It's, you could say, maybe having a little bit of a first mover advantage, maybe just a little bit there. All right. Let's see. All right, Morton's got a question here. What is the next catalyst for IREN to start moving fast again? More GPUs back to 150,000, BTC to 150,000. Yeah, I think Bitcoin going up, them announcing more GPUs, right? Whether it's 40,000 GPUs now or 60,000, whatever it might be, that's going to be the catalyst that's going to make it run even further. All right. All right, Hard Knock says also in big on Tom Lee's BMNR. Yeah. I love the fact that they're buying up Ethereum and others are buying up Bitcoin, but I just don't know how much of a premium they should get there. All right. Let's see. Tom Harrison, question, joining late. Hut is on fire. What do you think? Well, they have, what is it, 1 point some gigawatts that they're developing, sites that they're developing. I think that's helping. And they're building out the site in, gosh, what's it in? It's not Mississippi. It's is it Mississippi? No, Louisiana. The site they're building out in Louisiana right there. I think that they got rid of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, or the Bitcoin mining side of things on the balance sheet going forward. So I think there's quite a few good things happening for the company there, but I think that also we need to have some kind of news on them getting a customer there. All right, James, are you still tracking Bitfarms? Yes, I'm still tracking them. We do cover them when they do report information, so we are tracking them. All right, Perfecte, how is the basement reno going? Can you show us some pictures? I can probably show you guys some pictures later on. Maybe tomorrow we'll do that if you guys are interested in it. Right now it's all framing, so I'm pretty much done with the framing for the most part. The only thing I have left is some of the soffits here, but I need to get my HVAC guy in here to see what we need to do with the HVAC to provide heat in the wintertime and obviously cooling in the summertime a little bit. Once that's done, then I can finish out the soffits. And once the soffits are done, then I can do electrical and all the fun stuff and then, progress from there. So it's still a work in progress. All right. James, can you show us the spreadsheets? Thanks. Which one do you want to see? On Bitfarms? Let me pull up Bitfarms here really quick for you guys. Let me pull this up, open it up. I don't have it open right now. Miners Quarterly. And I don't have the latest pricing in for them. I could probably pull that though. Let me pull this out of this one here really quick and go into this one. Let's see, Miners Quarterly. I'm going to go here. Bear with me while I pull things around here really quick. See if this will work. And then the one in quarterly, I'm going to go in here because things have definitely changed in price-wise. Okay, let's pull up Bitfarms here really quick. All right, there it is. Okay, so Bitfarms, right now this is, the data, some of this data is a little bit old here. All right, we got Q2, we're obviously past Q3 already as it is, so we need an update on that as far as what they were mining and all that stuff on it, what the revenues were. So the revenues are based on Q2 results, basically. We're multiplying those times 4. Right, so if their revenues improved, there would be an improvement there. Plus, we're not really taking into account for anything for HPCI. So I had them between 310 and 464. They're 417, so they're kind of fairly valued, but I think because of the HPCI narrative, they should be valued higher. So I'm saying like $6 to $10, somewhere between there. Somewhere in there, I think would be a fair value for them with the sites that they do have and the megawatts available to them currently. Okay, so that's kind of where I see things. All right, let's go back here. What else we have here? Let's see, Andrea, great information, Seb. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for the likes and coming in here. All right, David, probably most miners moving into AI will get cleaned out. Mara sticking around to be biggest miner. Oh, there's obviously a small percentage that could be the case as well. We just don't know. We're in this, we'll see, I guess. Okay, let's see. Okay, talked about that one already. Okay, Steve asked thoughts on Soluna. I've talked about that as well. It's good that they're getting noticed. My only concern has always been that they have been partnering with a bunch of people, a bunch of companies on their sites, right? So whenever they do a site, they partner pretty much with somebody on that. That makes it more difficult to see financially how things are going and how are they progressing on there as well. but yeah, I mean, they're catching. I mean, they're up huge here recently. I think I could be wrong on this, but I think it's because of the small market cap, the low number of shares being traded. It's easy to manipulate that stock and others as well. We've seen it with Mawson, we've seen it with Argo, we've seen it with other ones in there as well that are small. But I would just be careful with that one, right? So I'll just leave it at that. All right. JD's got a question. Is Mara ever going to catch a bid? Such a lagger this run. It might. If they go into HBCI somehow or some way, then I think it might. Right now, those are the ones that are running in, right? Mara is holding behind it. They're not really going into that, at least not yet. All right, Daniel, do you think we are in a super cycle? When are you selling? I don't think we're in a super cycle. No, I think we are in an extended cycle. A super cycle would be that Bitcoin goes to like $1 million in 12 months or something like that. That would be a super cycle. We're not in that. We are in just an extended cycle where Bitcoin is probably going to continue to go up higher over the next couple of years, right? It's going to be slower percentage gains, higher value amount, but it's going to be not what we've seen in 2017 or even 2021, I think. It's just going to be a slow and steady gains on Bitcoin with some downsides, obviously, right? Correcting a little bit, 15, 20, 30%, whatever it might be, and a continuation going up further than that. So that's kind of where I see things right now. But time will tell. Time will tell if I was right or if I was, off my rocker at that point. All right. Worm Man, what do you think about Cleanspark W, which is their warrants? Seems like it's the best thing to buy if we think it will go over $30 a share. It might be. I don't know. I don't get into that one. I just buy the regular shares. There's others that can probably comment on this in the stream right now that have better understanding of that than I do. DeFi IREN at 65 without a single deal. Let that sink in. Won't be surprised 150 after a deal if end of year. Okay. They don't even need a deal, I don't think. I think if they just continue to increase their own GPUs, right, I think that'll continue to pump the stock up that way. All right. GutXM says Mining Mafia has merch. Yeah, they do. So definitely check that out. All right. Steve, thanks for answering so many questions. You're very knowledgeable. I appreciate it. Thank you. I've been in this, I've did Bitcoin mining since 2017 through 2022. So I do have at least some experience in that regard as far as what it takes. And then keeping track of these guys for the last 3-4 years definitely helps out as well. And, being on Spaces, listening to a lot of people. I do a lot of listening of others. That's how you learn, right? You got to listen. If you don't listen and you're just jabbering about things, you're not learning at that point. So you got to listen a lot of times. All right. GetXM, thoughts on Cleanspark potentially getting into Texas? I mean, we saw that post yesterday from Matthew Schultz, right, that he loves Texas there. So, yeah, it might be. Plus, they said they're looking at sites to get more. So there could be something there. David, where are GPUs being sourced from? They are being sourced from NVIDIA and AMD right now, right? We're seeing that. All right, James, where do you see Bitfarms on the long run, maybe in 2 to 3 years, where their HPC game is running? So a couple of things. Their sites, right, that they have in Pennsylvania. They have, I think, 2 sites that could possibly get to 1 gigawatt each, potentially. If they can build those out to those capacities, that would be huge for them. I think they could obviously be, tens of billions of dollars in valuation at that point, right? Could they get to 100 billion? I don't know. 2 years out is a long way. It also depends on the deals that they get. Do they also go in and add it themselves for just a neo cloud provider? Those are all variables that we don't know right now. So kind of hard to tell. Right now, I can say that they're still undervalued. I think they should be higher from where they are right now. Where will they be in 2 to 3 years? Hard to tell. All right. Why are miners building tier 3 data centers for AI if they can build tier 2 facilities for 6% of the cost and still host NVIDIA GPUs? A lot of times it depends on the customer's demand, right? So if you have demanding customers that need tier 3 data centers because of the uptime availability and everything else, that's the cost that's associated with it. Now, if your customers don't require that, then you can build data centers that are much less expensive. So that's kind of the way it works. All right. Let's see. Okay. We know companies like Cleanspark and IREN have been extremely efficient with their G&A costs for BTC mining, while Cipher or Riot are the opposite. How important is this now in regards to HPC AI? It's important, right? It's always important. In any business, it's important, I think. So, yeah. All right. Daniel says extended cycle sounds sweet. Yeah, it does. But we won't know until we're actually past it, right? So sometime next year, if we're still going up with Bitcoin, then we could definitely say that it's an extended cycle. I think probably by the end of the first quarter, I think if Bitcoin's still going up and we're not crashing at that point, I think we can possibly call it an extended cycle. Maybe. Yeah, it definitely gives us a little bit more confidence at that point. All right. Shomari, when does the high demand for HPC meet the planned supply in your estimation 2029? We've heard from Microsoft, they're saying not even in 2026 here, so we might be maybe 29 might be the year where we start to kind of level off a little bit at that demand. But it could be also that demand just continues going on for much longer than that because of all the demand for AI. Robots, cars, schooling, science, medicine, all of that stuff is going to possibly be relying on it there. All right. Sarah says, you're a beautiful human being, Seb. Thanks for your comments to this channel, commitment to this channel. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for that. All right. Shamari, question, when are you going to be done with the basement? I'm hoping, to be honest with you guys, as soon as possible. What I may end up doing is finishing out the studio at least first before I do the rest of the stuff here, just to get this done and over with so I don't have to look at the 2x4s much longer and at least have a space here that I can do this. So I may do that. That's kind of something that's in the back of my head right now. Instead of going all in on the whole thing, I may just do this. So if I do this, we could probably get this done in a couple weeks. But if it's the whole basement all at once, it's going to be probably, I'm guessing, another 3 to 4, maybe 5 months before it's completely done here, because I'm doing pretty much all the work myself here. If the miners go up nicely, where I'm up 7 figures on these things, and maybe not double 7 figures, but maybe multi 7 figures, then I might actually hire somebody else to do this for me, because at that point I could probably spend my time more wisely, I guess. But I kind of also enjoy doing it. I get joy, I get satisfaction knowing that I built this. This was done by my hands. I had a part in it. I enjoy that. I enjoy building in general. So we'll see. Okay. All right. Soda Head. Especially can Cleanspark rally like IREN? It is mining at performance on par or better than IREN. It's on par. Their costs are a little bit higher than IREN's is. Even though the stock's cheaper, too bad I sold around 13. It really tested my patience. It tested a lot of people's patience for sure. So I don't know if it can rally with, I don't want to put this. I don't think it's going to be able to rally as quickly as IREN has here recently, but I think in time it can do very, very well, right? IREN's rallying because, one, they're 50 exahash, low cost of power. They've been very efficient with their capital. They're also, becoming a neo cloud more or less, and that's what's really driving the stock up higher there. Cleanspark, if they can execute as well as IREN has on the neo cloud portion, if they get into it, then I think they can do the same thing, but it might be another couple of more months before we get to that point, or maybe even longer than that. But nonetheless, I'm loving what I'm seeing right now with Cleanspark. All right, JC, when will you consider selling the miners? Are they a long-term hold past the next halving? They might be. I'm still, I think we still go up higher from here, right? So I don't want to sell too quickly. If I could possibly see myself selling if the miners double from where they are right now. If they start doubling from here, that makes it more appealing to me to start slowly dollar cost averaging out of these things. So I'll take 5-10% off, whatever it might be. As they go up higher, I'll take another, I don't know where they're going to go, that's kind of the plan, at least right now. We're going to keep an eye on things, or at least I'm going to keep an eye on things, see where things are going, and we'll decide at that point, right? It could be next week that things go down, 10, 15, 20%, and I may be like, okay, crap, I got to start selling a little bit of the stuff to lock in some of the gains there. So that could be happening also. All right, David Humphrey, the proto rig was officially unveiled on August 14th at CORZ Scientific Facility in Dalton, Georgia, marking a significant shift in the Bitcoin mining industry. We talked about that at that point. Cleanspark got one of them, I think, here recently. They're testing it out. And CORZ Scientific was supposed to get a bunch of those things, like 15 exahash. I don't know where they're at on that point right now, but that is it. All right, we're going to call it a day because we're going on almost an hour and 45 minutes already. Yeah, we're going on an hour. Wow. Okay. I need to get some sleep, get some rest, and we'll cover everything that happens tomorrow on Friday as always. So I'll see you guys back then tomorrow. Love you all. Hope you guys have a great Friday. If you don't obviously come in tomorrow, I understand. You guys have families. You guys have things to do. And it's Friday, so you're going to be out celebrating anyways. But if you do come in, greatly love to see you guys there. But otherwise, yeah, have a great Friday. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow.